the intro.
Yeah.
It's a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Music, obviously a big, since you were little, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, it was something that my parents were determined that my sister and I should be exposed to, the Great American Songbook, as they call it. And it became a very, very important part of Family Guy. It's the Family Guy musical system is very complex. There's a lot of off-color humor and whatnot, but we do try to keep the music very serious. I think in a lot of ways that makes everything just a little bit funnier.
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, it's sublime, I guess, and it's like you listen. Hey, did they just do some sort of a classical tune in there and then get in a scatological joke? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, it's anywhere from a 50 to an 80 piece orchestra, depending on the week.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a couple of shows coming up where we're going to have about 90 players, which is about the size of the LA Philharmonic. So it's a very important part of the show, and it's a very important part of any show, and it's an aspect that goes undervalued by a lot of producers. And it's a very simple thing. If you have a show and you score it with electronic music, on some visceral level, your audience is going to see it as something cheap. If you use a live orchestra, it just makes all the difference in the world.
And it's got to be expensive.
It's expensive, but it's certainly not the most expensive part of the show. Remember shows up until about the early '90s, early mid '90s, every show on TV used a live orchestra. It was just part of the even cheap Saturday morning cartoons used an orchestra. So it's not like it's so expensive that it's impossible. It's just something that is no longer valued to the extent that it used to be, which the only way we would be able to do the extensive musical numbers that we do on Family Guy and American Dad in Cleveland is because of that orchestra.
Is there ever any conflict with producers? Like the Shaboopy was like 6 minutes of singing?
No, I mean the network pretty much lets us. They recognize it's a part of the show, and they recognize that when we do it, we're going to make sure it's not boring.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that if a song goes on for 3 minutes, it's going to be a lively thing to look at, and we pick those songs carefully
and to listen to.
Yeah.
So segueing from that, now you're in Salt Lake City for the first time, I guess, properly to visit and stay, and also to perform. What should folks expect tomorrow night at the Jazz Festival?
Well, Ron Jones's jazz band, the Influence Jazz Band, is comprised of a lot of the same musicians that back in LA that we that play on Family Guy and the other two shows. And we do a lot of shows out in LA at various venues, and once every couple months, and playing a lot of Sinatra charts, a lot of old Nelson Riddle, Billy May charts that you just don't get to hear live anymore. And it's a blast.
Or
and
at
so
least
it's
not live done well.
Yeah. Yeah, you do hear a lot of bad versions, but so we're he had the opportunity to come out here and play at the Jazz Festival and asked me if I wanted to come and do some tunes with him, and it sounded like a good time.